So, okay, so this is the fourth session of Duet December, which has 12 unconnected sessions. So today me and Stentor are playing the Atom of Your Labors, which is basically a Frankenstein-inspired game where one player plays the scientist and one player plays the creature. So Stentor, do you have any ideas of which person you want to play?
I'm good either way if you have a preference.
Yeah. So I guess first we can go through lines and veils. We'll have the X cards, so if even if you don't think of something during lines and veils, if anything grosses you out or you just don't want to, just exit. And then we can always add to lines and veils through the game. So my veil is I pretty much always put sexual violence under veils. So that's what I have under there right now. Is there anything else that you would like to
add? Would you mind if we kick that over to a line rather than just a veil?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this. I'm like, man, this game could go into that territory fairly quickly if we didn't intentionally not do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this game feels like something you could definitely explore that if that's what you wanted to do. I'm not feeling quite up to that for today. Yeah, that's the only one that strikes me right now. I know we can add to it later if something else comes up.
Yeah. So, then I guess we'll do the character creation. I don't really have any strong feelings about which one.
Then why don't I be the creature then?
Okay.
Since I'm a scientist in my day life.
Yeah, you can take
I guess you kind of are too, because you're a grad student. But...
Yeah, I'm fine with being a more laboratory. I'm not really a laboratory scientist. So I will be a crazy scientist. And unfortunately, the creature does not get a name. At least at the beginning of the game. Game. So I guess go ahead and just do all the character creation stuff, and then we can introduce the characters. There's a whole description. There's on the PDF. There's different types for the creature and the scientist that have specific info. One is the blob, and something. So you pick from those types, and then everything else is up to you. So there's 4 types for each. And that's right after the choosing characters page. And then when we introduce the characters, there's a little intro paragraph that we'll read, but we'll do that after we finish the character creation.
Okay. Yeah, I have to pull up the PDF here to look at my options.
Yeah, and I also have it on the Google Drive too.
Yeah. So what's our setting, location, time period kind of thing?
I think it could be anything. I mean, I was thinking sort of like present day, but we could do
Okay.
something else if you want.
I'm cool with present day.
Yeah, I think it's pretty open, but I just had present day in mind.
I'm torn between the blob and the plant for creature types.
The plant just reminds me of the what is the Little House of Horrors? Like,
Mm-hmm.
feed me Seymour.
I've never actually seen that, but I've seen that reference so many times that I
Yeah,
recognize it.
me neither. I just know the reference. Feed
Yeah.
me Seymour. Feed me Stentor.
uh, hmm.
So my PDF is, I think, missing some pages because the descriptions for the intern and the top tier professor are not there. Can you look in yours and see if it's in there and see if it's a me problem or like the publishing problem?
Mm-hmm.
It's
No, I don't. They're not in my PDF either.
Okay, I'll send them an email and tell them that they're missing.
Yeah, yeah. I have the Rogue Tinkerer and the Fringe Mystic.
Yeah, that's what I have.
A of a microscope, and then their little like author's note, and then it's on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for my creature pronouns, what pronouns did your cat go by?
Oh, my cat. Probably. Yeah, probably he.
I will also be he. So I think I inherited that from the cat during the experiment that went wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a cat vine, I guess. Speaking of cats, this little one has been sleeping by my feet during the game so far.
Is he the new one?
Florence? Yep, she's our foster.
Yeah.
I know, I woke you up from a nap. Let's make sure all the viewers get to see Florence.
Okay.
All right.
So, why don't you do the creature first? So, like, read the plant description.
Okay.
And then just your stuff, and then I'll do the scientist.
Okay. So I've got to scroll back to it here. Okay. So the description, so I'm a sentient plant. You're some kind of tree, shrub, grass, fern, moss, algae, flower, weed, herb, leaf, seed, pod, fruit, vegetable, nut, or some combination mutation of these things that has gained sentience. You may even be a fungus. Whatever you are not an animal, so you won't have limbs and muscles and organs like animals do. There are advantages to this, however, such as the ability to regrow any part of yourself that's severed from your main body. So I'm envisioning myself as a type of plant that I've tangled with far too often. Just like it's kind of this mass of thorny vines, not even that many leaves, but just like a lot of vines all totally tangled together with kind of green and red streaks coloring. So my special ability is growth. Instead of reaching towards something, you will grow towards it. This happens at an alarmingly fast rate compared with other plants and is controlled by your rudimentary consciousness. You gained this ability only moments before the game begins, so you'll not be very precise or skilled with it, and you may not be able to sustain those parts of yourself that are overextended. And my sensitivity is light. As a sentient plant, you are very aware of light sources and types of light in your surroundings. You can't help but have your mind state shifted by changes of light around you. These changes may also affect your growth ability, and your natural tendency is to reach toward the light.
So my character, the scientist, is Olive Rappaccini, and she is a top-tier professor, and we don't have the description, but I assume this means I have access to a lot of like resources. I have all the tools, and I'm like very adherent to like the scientific method and like doing, you know, real experiments. I'm not like a pseudoscience person, although in my grief of my cat dying, I did try and bring my cat back to life, so perhaps a lapse in judgment. I'm kind of like I'm a regular person, kind of short and pudgy. I'm Italian, so I can't do it, but I imagine her having like an Italian accent, although I cannot recreate this. And we're in the university lab, so it's very like clean and tidy. And I'm an evolutionary biologist. And while I was trying to bring the cat back to life, something went wrong and the house plant became sentient. So see that there's we're in Act 1 in the lab, and for each scene I'm just gonna set a 5-minute timer just for like guidance. We can go over if we want to, but just to like know like when it's 5 minutes. So I will start because I think I go first.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll just tell you when I turn it to your turn. So I think I grab like it's been so long since I've been in the lab. I think I grab like a stick that you use to like stir things, and I like try and poke the vines. Yeah. So now it's your turn.
So I think that you kind of poke into the mass of the vines, and the stick gets like a little bit caught on the thorns, and I kind of rustle a bit as you like poke or pull it out.
So then I'm pretty reluctant to stick my hand in there, so I think I get like a bottle of or like a beaker. I fill like a beaker with water and try and like splash water onto the plant and see if there's any reaction.
Yeah, I think when you splash it, like when it hits the soil under me, I'm envisioning I'm in this like kind of raised bed in this like little greenhouse kind of thing, and so the water just like gets sucked right down into the soil as soon as it hits.
So then to see like how you react to light, because I'm just kind of trying to see how you react to things. I go over to like the light switch and like turn the light, like, well, not like super fast, like enough to give you time to react, but I like turn the lights on and off. I like try turning one on one side of the room and then turn it off and turn the one on the other side of the room off.
So I think there's like there's one particular like little bit of vine that kind of sticks out, like almost like a cowlick on my vines. And you know, as you're flicking, like, but when you start doing between the two sides of the room, you notice that it starts to like get almost like a zigzag, because like it'll start to grow a little bit towards the light on one side, and then you'll switch to the other side and it'll grow a little bit. And so I end up with this kind of like zigzaggy, like Pikachu tail kind of shape of a thing sticking out. So I think that counts as me demonstrating my special ability, right?
What is growth again? What does it do?
It means that I can grow really quickly. So I can't necessarily move my existing parts, but I can grow new parts out towards things when I want to.
So when you're kind of going towards the light, it's growing really quickly.
Yeah, it's growing quickly enough that you can actually see the zigzags in it from growing towards one light source versus another.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that counts. Oh, so before we start scene 2, so we each have 4 final actions. That's at the end of the game, and at the end of, I think at the end of each act, you choose one to cross off. So I just wrote mine down on a piece of paper because I don't think we're supposed to know what each other are crossing off.
Okay.
Like, so that's just right before. That's right before the like power box picture.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you're transcend, commune, dominate, or escape, and I'm rouse, embrace, submit, release. And then like, because at the end of this next scene, we're gonna choose one to cross off.
Okay. Yeah, I copied it into a separate file so that I can cross them off without showing what I did. Okay, so we're on to scene 2.
Yeah, so you go first. Using your special ability, explore the lab in whatever way you see fit. Each turn, your actions will damage something in the lab.
Okay. Yeah, so I've had that one thing that's kind of grown up a little zigzaggy, and it's getting actually now close to where the lights are. And so I think, you know, once you've stopped flicking them back and forth and you've left, you know, certain lights on because you've realized that I'm growing towards it, I continue to grow and I kind of wrap around. I assume these are like, you know, fluorescent style ceiling lights. And so I kind of start to wrap around one of them, and like eventually there's enough like vine wrapped around this light that like the one side of it comes loose from the ceiling, and the whole thing kind of swings down, and I kind of fall off of it and like land up, like a pile of vines lands in the middle of the floor. Well, the light is kind of dangling from the ceiling.
Yeah. So I think this is like the middle of the night because I like snuck into here, and so I'm like really hoping that like security doesn't come. But so I think I like take my phone and because I've seen that you'll grow like towards like you can like use lights. So I think I like using like books, I create a little maze and I shine my phone towards the end, like at the end of the maze. To see, like, I'm trying to see if you will like navigate through the maze.
Okay, so I think you're doing that, and sort of the end of the vine is kind of nudging its way, like very cautiously along the maze, and then you hear this like crash from behind you. And when you turn around, there's another vine that has worked its way up across your like lab bench and is kind of approaching the flashlight from the other side, like not through the maze, but it's knocked like some beakers or something off of the lab bench.
Oh man.
As I go.
So I think I turn the flashlight off, and then I think I go to the window and because all the lights are off, and I open up the blinds, and I think you can like the sun is starting to rise. So I want to see if like the vines will come from multiple directions again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think if I'm visualizing like the space correctly, I think that's kind of on the other side from where the two vines were headed to. So I think, yeah, a third one kind of comes up the radiator toward the window and kind of up the side of the window where the sun is starting to rise.
So I think I'm kind of just watching all of this happen. And I say, yes, the like light can be used as a guide for this plant, but behavior may be unpredictable.
Uh-huh.
So that's like my conclusion based on these little experiments.
Uh-huh.
So so secretly choose one final action to cross off.
All right.
So now we're on to act number 2. So I am trying to bring you home. Well, I do. And then I'm going to try and feed you. But the first one is us going home. So I think also I know how like sensitive you are to light. So I think I like I think I try and like well, I'll just ask you, like, if I like pick up the vines without you like hurting me?
Yeah, I think the thorns are spaced enough that it, like you can like pinch it with 2 fingers and like grab part between the thorns, so you can like pick it up and kind of wind me up a little more compactly.
Yeah. So I like pick up the vines, so I like arrange everything back onto the bed, and then I think I cover you with my coat, and then I think I get like a cart and put you on there because I'm not like strong enough to like carry the whole bed, and I take you out to my car, and of course like I just have a little car. I think I have like if I think I have a trunk where I can like lay the back seats down and put you in, but I don't have like a large truck, and so I'm like attempting to like drive home without like disturbing you too much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm like in the back seat.
Yeah, well, you're like it has like the 2 back seats are like laid down, so like that in the trunk, it creates a larger trunk.
Okay. Yeah, so I think as you're driving, you've got like various lights are on your dashboard, right?
Yeah.
Like the clock and the turn signal light and stuff, and you see one little vine has kind of come up into the front seat and wrapped itself around the clock light.
And then I think I'm like very nervous, and I'm like driving home, and I think I like, I like start like talking to like Pinchu, and I'm like, go back in there. We're almost home.
Yeah, so I think actually after you say that, you don't see a vine coming up into the front seat anymore. But if you glance in the rear view mirror, you see a vine has kind of crept up into the back window where sometimes the headlights of other cars, flash.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to zigzag back and forth along the little like heater lines for the rear window defroster.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I pull into my driveway, and I think I have I own a house. It's like, like not like a mansion, but like a fine, nice house. But I don't have a family except for my cat who
you've got
died.
tenure. You've got decent money to spend.
Yes, yes. My companion was my cat who is now dead. And so then I think I go and I take you inside, and kind of like very difficult. Like it's very difficult for me to like carry you in because the planter is heavy.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the next scene is me trying to feed you.
Okay.
Actually, you know what I think I do? So aside from just like watering you, I think I like mash up some like dry cat food and mix it with water and like put it on the stove because that's all I have.
Okay, so how are you presenting this to me?
I think I'm like putting it onto the soil of the feeder.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's just like perfect, I think. So yeah, because I think when when you look at me, there's like just so many vines and stuff around, you can't even really see what's at the center or anything, or where I'm actually attached to the ground. But when you put the cat food down in part of the the bed that I'm in, you see some of the vines grow towards it, and you can see some of them starting to sprout little roots down into that spot. Kind of like some plants will like put down extra roots to like spawn a clone. And so that's kind of what's happening. There's like these little white filaments that start to go down into the soil at that spot where you put the cat food.
Yeah. So I think I just like try and just cover the like soil of the bed in that mixture. Yeah. So now.
Yeah. So there's now like 3 or 4 different spots where I'm rooted to the soil, and my overall color now looks like it was kind of a pale white and red streaks, but now it's like more vibrant colored.
So now we choose another action to cross off.
Okay.
So Now I go to sleep and then awaken to find the creature in new form.
Okay.
So I think first, like, yeah, you maybe the first turn, like, I'm still sleeping, so you can do that and just like describe what the new form is.
Yeah. Can we actually have a quick bio break before we
Yeah,
go
yeah,
on?
that's
All right.
fine. Yeah,
All right. So pause it and be back in like 5.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so you've gone to sleep.
Yes.
So what room of the house was I left in? Well, I'll just kind of go with. All right. So while you're asleep, I've sort of absorbed the cat food that you gave me, and so I send a few different tendrils out, and I think the first one finds your home computer and grows kind of up onto the keyboard because there's often a little bit of light even when the computer's asleep, right? Mm-hmm. So I found the computer and I grow up kind of across the keyboard. I'm motioning towards my keyboard here, which you can't see because it's not where my webcam is. Grow up kind of across the keyboard and kind of hit some of the keys on the way. And it makes one of the little notice pops up on the screen. It says cat-like typing detected. So you've got one of those apps installed to keep your cat from activating your computer. But it also it beeps when that happens. Loud enough probably for you to hear it.
And I think so. Oh, wait. Oh, I think in this first scene, well, I'm not supposed to be asleep yet. Okay, I'm confused. Okay, so
yeah, it's a little confusing because it sounds like you go to sleep, but you wake up and then you go back to sleep.
I think I'm getting ready to go to sleep.
Okay.
In this first scene, okay, but I mean, what you did is still fine. Okay. I'll just be not asleep yet, but in my room. So then I think absent-mindedly, I'll say Spot, stop typing on the computer. That was my cat's name.
Mm-hmm.
And
you have frozen there.
The living room in the den, and I see you rowing more.
Could you back up just a little bit? You froze on my screen, so I missed the last little bit of what you said. Okay. Everything from Spot, stop typing. You were frozen.
Okay, so I said, Spot, stop typing on the computer. And then I pause and I think, wait. And I walk out into the living room.
I think you froze again.
To brush my teeth because I'm I need to go to sleep.
Okay. So as you're in the bathroom, and I assume you've closed the door.
Yeah.
But you hear kind of a scratching against the door.
Spot, I'm busy.
And a little the tip of a vine kind of working its way, there's the tiniest little crack at the bottom near one of the sides. And you see this tiny little bit of an end of a vine trying to work its way in there.
Sorry, you froze for me a little bit. Can you repeat?
Okay.
The little vine was coming through the door.
Yeah, so you're hearing the scratching at the bathroom door, and just the tiniest tip of a vine pokes through where there's a little bit of a gap. Hello?
Sorry about that. Hello?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you start again?
Okay. Yeah. So you hear us scratching at the bathroom door, and then where there's like a tiny little gap at the corner, like where the door doesn't quite fit into the frame, and you see this little end of a bit of a vine kind of poking in and like almost feeling around through that gap.
I think I like spit and I like turn around and leave the bathroom and I'm like, what is it that you want? And I like leave the bathroom and I'm like walking over it and like, you know, throwing like stray clothes into the laundry bin and like picking stuff up.
So, and now you hear some noise coming from the kitchen.
Oh, so I go in there. I'm like, are you
And
still hungry?
so you go into the kitchen. You can see there's a vine kind of coming around into the kitchen, and you start to see things just kind of come flying out from underneath the refrigerator. So there's like a little felt mouse comes out, and some like a twisty tie from a bread bag, and all the little toys that the cat used to play with that would then get lost under the refrigerator are now kind of popping out of there, and then the refrigerator itself starts to rock kind of dangerously.
I think that obviously I see this happening, but I'm distracted by all the cat toys that came out from under the refrigerator, and I think I start to cry because I'm sad about my cat dying, and I just like ignoring the refrigerator that's probably about to fall over. I like walk to my like bedroom and just like crawl into my bed and go to sleep. I was like very upset about my cat dying.
So, okay, yeah. So you go to sleep, and I think the refrigerator rocks until the door of the refrigerator kind of falls open, and so then you don't see this, but like our camera sees this. That then the vine that came into there like curls up into the refrigerator, because then there's the refrigerator light is on. And kind of wraps around some of the food in the refrigerator. So I think that's where I rest for the night, absorbing refrigerator light. Okay, so moving on to the next scene here. Now my turn. Describe how my form is changing. Each turn the transformation should get more and more extreme, and your sensitivity is heightened. Okay. So what color was Spot?
I think probably like gray with like a white spot on his face.
Okay. All right. So when you come back out in the morning, I think you see that I'm still there. I haven't grown anymore, but the vines used to be, kind of smooth with that like red and green streaking kind of pattern to them. But now it looks like the vines are all covered in this kind of soft grayish fuzz all over.
I think I go up and I like run my hand over one of the vines and just like feel this little fuzz.
And as you do that, you notice the thorns. The thorns originally were very straight, but now they look like slightly hooked or curled.
I think I just kind of like feel the little thorns with my finger.
Yeah, and on the part of the vine that you're petting, the thorns actually retract into the vine. So you can still see there's a little like spot where the thorn like comes out from, but they've now retracted. So you can you could run your hand all the way across the vine without hitting a thorn.
I think I pet the vine, and then I kind of see that my refrigerator is open. I'm like, oh no. And I think I say like, oh Spot, you've got into the refrigerator. And I kind of like gently like take it out and like close the refrigerator. And then I think I go and
as you do that, you know, you had had like a full gallon jug of milk in there, and it's now like there's a little bit of milk in the very bottom, but that's it that's left, and there's like a couple holes punctured in the side.
You drank all my milk. You're such a bad kitty. I think I go to like where I had left the planter, like in the kitchen / living room area, and I think I like grab like a big lamp and like turn it on and like put it near the planter.
And so, yeah, with that sudden big light, you can feel the whole planter vibrating very slightly, and almost like a purring kind of noise. I feel like that completes my transformation there.
Yes.
Right, if you want to have one more like action or reaction to that, the purring.
I think I smile, and then I also like go to my computer and start like checking my email, and there's like an email saying like burglary in the lab.
Yeah, it's like your colleague that was raising this plant. It's like, where did my plant go?
And also like the place is like wrecked, like the light is destroyed.
Yeah. Okay, so we each eliminate one final action. Oh, this is a tough one.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so reveal an epilogue.
So what is your final action?
Okay, so my final action was number 3, dominate. You wish to bring the scientist under your will and control in some way. This may look like intimidation, tough love, maternal, paternal instinct, aggression, or some combination.
So mine was number 2, embrace. Okay. So let's do this. Scientist, and so I think I'm number 2 and you're number 3. So I think I go first because I have a lower number, I think. What new cautions or barriers do you enact in response to this interaction, and how does it affect your life? I think I like start treating you like the cat, and I think part of me realizes that it's different, but you know, I'm living in this delusion that you're my cat. And like just like I feed you and I water you, but I feel like really it's you taking care of me.
Yeah, so for the creature, do you feel any guilt about your decision, and do you continue with this course of action in the future? I don't think I feel any guilt. I think that I have, in addition to a more cat-like physical appearance, I have adopted the cat-like attitude that, of course, I am the most important and majestic creature on this earth, and it's only natural for humans to take care of my every need.
Yes.
So I'm quite satisfied to have you feed and water and light me for the rest of my creature life.
Mhm. Does the outside world learn of this incident?
I could go either way on that. I think it depends a lot on what you would want to do. Like, would you want to write a paper about this, or would you want to keep this under wraps?
I think that I keep it a secret because I think it's sort of like I delude myself into just thinking you're a cat, you're just a little different.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm like pretty reclusive, so I don't think like many people would come to my house and like see you because I have this feeling that you would just like eventually have like little like tendrils all in every part of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like you like completely like physically are in every single space.
Uh-huh.
But I
Awesome.
think the rest of your creature life, however long that is, you just
Uh-huh.
live at my house and you pretend to be my cat.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So I think,
Cool.
yeah, I think that's it. That was fun.
Yeah, this is a really cool little game.
Yeah,
I love the mechanic of eliminating a final action each time until you get to the last thing. Like, that's a really cool way to do it.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and of course, we made it about cats.
Of course, very appropriate.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, yeah. Are you sure? Are you sure your cats are really cats?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them now and shine a light on them. Well, because the thing is, cats like light too, right?
Yeah.
So it fits together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could pretty much tonally take it in whatever direction you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I could totally see this going really dark and creepy, or with like heavy kind of sexual overtones to it and
Yeah.
all those kind of things. And because it's the two of us, it went like cats. But
Cats, yay.
yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, or like you could go like more like traditional Frankenstein, like
Mm-hmm.
am I human? Who am I? Is there a humanoid option?
No, I don't think so. Because there's the blob, the plant, giant bug, and biotech hybrid. So I guess you could make that humanoid probably,
Yeah, but it's not like
but it's not
a
inherently
default.
humanoid.
Well, I feel like if there was a humanoid, maybe you would like just default to making it like Frankenstein, and that wouldn't be
Yeah.
as interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like that they give you, like, I think these creature options are really cool, really evocative, but yeah, they steer you away from just redoing Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which is cool.
I also like the little note where like people say that this line is in Frankenstein, but it really isn't. Or it may be in some obscure edition, but
Uh-huh.
we're gonna use it because the actual origin is cooler than it just being in the book.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it has the the like first man like illusion, like Adam,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
biblical illusion. Well, I guess the whole thing with Frankenstein is playing God, so it's a apt illusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop the broadcast.